Who are you and what do you do here on the internet?
Well, my name is John. My friends call me Juice, and I've been streaming on this platform for about just over 3 years now. I'm a variety streamer, which means I play pretty much anything, not tied down to any specific category or theme. Matter of fact, I think variety underestimates what I do in terms of all the things that I do. I think Fever Dream would probably be a better description of of the activities and games I surround myself with. But yes, so pretty much anything I can get my hands on, I will try pretty much anything once. And other than that, I love using my green screen. As you can see, it's a bit of a trademark for myself, and I have so much fun with it. I also do podcasts as well, where I interview other streamers like yourself. I speed run Resident Evil 2 remake, which I was formerly 69th in the world.
Wow.
Because of my wife, I also raise money for, or rather, to fight ovarian cancer. To this date, we've raised just over 15,000 USD, which I'm really, really proud of. I was recently doing gym streams right before the new year, and I was recording my workout session. So that is something that I started doing, and recently, because thanks to Fred, I started getting into Lego as well, and I built a few Lego builds recently. So yeah, so that's what I do.
Excellent. Sounds like you're busy. Sounds like you have a lot of things going on.
Too many things.
Have you always been variety? Has it always been a little bit of everything, or what was it like getting started?
That's a good question, because when I first started, or rather, before I started streaming, I was very much into Call of Duty Warzone, and I played a lot of that with my friends. I played a lot of just grinding Warzone. And I remember when I was playing that, I was watching a lot of streamers who played that as well. And eventually, with the people who I was around my circle at the time, they convinced me to start streaming as well. And yeah, so when I started, it was mostly Call of Duty, only that. And then I quickly realized that I'm not so good at the game. And I'm like, man, this is pretty boring to watch, because all the other streamers I were watching were so not only entertaining, but obviously very good at the game. And right away, I was like, no one wants to see my mediocre gameplay. So that's where I switched to more variety based and tried everything else instead of just sticking to Call of Duty.
Yeah.
But yeah.
That's I think you make that realization that a lot of us do at some point, where we're playing a game and we find that for whatever reason it's like, either it's like you said, it's maybe it's not as interesting to watch because you get lost in a sea of other people streaming the same thing, or you find that the combination of the game and you may not be as watchable as it could be.
Right.
So you're like, yeah, maybe I should do something different. So once you realized that with Call of Duty, what did you do? Like, what did you do next?
It's funny because the next stream, I played a little bit of Call of Duty, but then I played I played Alien Isolation. And what was that game there? It was a top-down view, like a murder mystery. I think it was called 11 Minutes or something.
Yes.
Do you remember that one? Yeah, that. So it was that 11 Minutes. I'm pretty sure I played a bit of Resident Evil. I don't recall. But yeah, I switched to that. And there was a lot of experimenting, playing games that I think that I would enjoy, or games that I would love to play. This is before I started thinking about who was going to watch me, before I thought about an audience. I was just thinking about what do I feel like playing today, and that's really what it boiled down to. And my streaming schedule was actually only 2 days. I think it was either 1 or 2 days a week, for a few hours at a time. And it was a little bit tough, because like I said, if you're not going to one, it's so easy to stick to one genre and one game, right? You don't have to think about your content too much. But yeah, no, I switched over to that, played some Resident Evil. What was really funny was I really had this idea of turning it into a show.
Mm.
And I remember when I first started, I was talking to my friends, and when I first started my stream, the first thing I thought of was, okay, let me do some research. Let me continue watching my friends on Twitch. Let me watch other people that are on the platform and see what I like.
Mm-hmm.
And I learned about like the stingers and transitions, thinking like, oh, what the hell is this, right? And I went on my Fiverr shopping spree trying to find how to dress up the stream as much as I could.
Yeah.
And then from there, it just built up and built up. So by the time I started my stream, um, it seemed like I was streaming for some time, even though my ability to talk to chat was still amateur at best.
Mm.
At least the presentation was there. But yeah, I mean, it was mostly just that. And what was really funny too is I was streaming on an iMac, which I do not recommend anyone to do unless it's one of those really new, super powerful ones. But even then, I wouldn't recommend it.
You're right.
But yeah,
and that's because a lot of what we do more OBS friendly and seems to work better on.
Yeah, there's a lot of plugins. I remember when I was streaming on the Mac, even just to get desktop audio was a pain in the ass. Like it was, you had to download a plugin, and from that plugin, you had to enable some options. It was just band-aid after band-aid after band-aid. But I made it work. I made it work for one full year before the games I started playing started stuttering, the frames started dropping. I was mostly into console gaming because obviously with iMac, there's really not many options you can do with that. But I remember I was trying to play Fall Guys, and the frames were dropping. Your OBS where it says your PC usage.
Yeah.
I think it was like at 50%. If I remember, I was like, I need a new computer.
Yeah.
But yeah. That's
exactly when you did all your research, because it sounds like, you were figuring it all out. You were watching other people. You're trying to figure out how to do it. And then you kind of formulated a plan. What did that look like? What did you end up going with once you figured out, here's how I'm actually going to try to do this?
Well, I mean, I just wanted to have a proper scenes, just a nice transition or stinger. I didn't really have anything in mind. It was just, let's just have something in place.
Yeah.
It was around that time when another IRL buddy reached out to me. He really enjoyed what I was doing. He was entertained, and he told his brother, who is a commercial graphic artist. So he only offers his services to commercial on the commercial side, like the other businesses and whatnot. And he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, Juice, let me fix up your stuff." I'm like, "All right, cool." So he helped me with my emotes. He helped me with my stingers, my transitions, with certain scenes as well. He did it for me without charging me a thing.
Wow.
And that's how it all started. And I still use that same stinger today. 3 years later, it still works for me. So
that's awesome.
But yeah, I really didn't have a theme in mind, despite having the word juice in there. I was just like, well, let's just do something, right?
How did that name come to be? Like, look at all that juice. What happened? Like, where did that come from?
So it's a bit of a long story. So one of my good friends is Harley Morenstein. He is the sauce boss on Epic Mealtime.
Yeah.
I don't know if you remember that YouTube show. So yeah. So he's one of my buddies, and when he started his YouTube channel, I obviously was in awe of what he was doing, and I was like, "Holy shit! Like this guy's killing it, right?"
Yeah.
And I wanted to do the same. I was like, "Okay, let's see how easy this is." So I got my buddies together. We were watching a lot of video game commentary type of channels. I think one of the bigger channels at the time was Rooster Teeth.
Right.
With what was the guy's name there? He was always raging at games.
Man, I forgot the name of all the people on Rooster Teeth, but I know of Rooster Teeth. But I
forgot his. Yeah. So the guy that always raged at the games had great, and I believe his partner was Gavin, one of the slow-mo guys.
Yeah.
Anyways, they were doing all this video game commentary, and I thought it was hilarious. So I kind of wanted to do the same thing, and I got my buddies together. The first thing that we thought of was, hey, let's make a channel about video games, but I don't want the channel to be cornered into one theme, like only video games. I
Right.
was always enthralled by people who were able to not just play video games, but able to do other things as well. And people were still interested. Like, I believe at the time also Sidemen were already big.
Mm-hmm.
They were blowing up back then, and they were doing all kinds of different challenges on top of their video games. So I was thinking, what can we do that will sort of encapsulate that feeling of everything all in one? And we were playing a lot of Gears of War at the time. And in the first Gears of War, there's a character named Coltrane who enters a new level, and he says the line, "Look at all that juice," and it was a pretty iconic line at the time, right?
Right.
It was pretty cool. So we're like, yeah, let's use that. Look at all that juice. I'm like, that makes sense. It means like let's look at everything. Like, all right, let's do that, and that's how it started. So
That's fantastic.
I just stuck with that ever since.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
What were those early streams like when you were like finally figuring things out and
On Twitch?
Yeah.
I'm trying to think when there was that moment where it was like, oh my god, like it's working, or there's something that I really like here. I would say it took about a year of understanding the content that I wanted to show. So the first thing was, when I first started streaming, was obviously I wasn't sure what I wanted to play.
Right.
And after about, I would say 6 months or 7 months or so, it could have been at the year mark. I think I had celebrated 1,000 followers, and I was doing like this 12-hour stream or whatever. And I remember talking to one of my other friends. His name is Duo MTL. I'm not sure if you know who he is. He's been on Twitch for, yeah. So he's another IRL friend. I've known him for like, at this point, probably 20 years or so. So I've known him for a while.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And he also was the other person who convinced me to start streaming, helped me out with my setup and whatnot. And he gave me very good advice that I still part this advice to everyone else who asks me how to grow a channel or how to run their streams. And his notion was, or his advice was, finish your games. Always finish your games, because people will come in wanting to watch, I don't know, whatever game you're playing. And if you switch too often, you'll end up losing that person who was only interested in you playing that game.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to play something, I guess, commit to something, so that audience, that person will hopefully stick around for the next one, but at least they see that you're playing a game that they like, and you're not switching constantly, because you could lose your audience like that.
Right.
So only when I started doing that, things started coming together, where it gave me an opportunity not to so much think about the content I was creating, the game that I was playing, where I can just concentrate on everything else around me. Mm-hmm. So let's say I knew I was going to play Cyberpunk for like the 5th time, because I know, or for the 5th stream, because I know that I'm not playing anything else after, or at least for a while. At least I can try to do things around the stream, fix up some themes or some gimmicks that I'm looking to add.
Yeah.
So it helped free my mind for other things. And one thing to add, when I first started streaming, and this was really funny, because I have a video editing background. Prior to going on Twitch, I had my 9-to-5 job, and I also had a videography business where I filmed weddings and birthdays, and I did commercial videos for the companies in my area. And one thing I did was, I would take the previous stream, download it, and edit it down to do a trailer. And my next stream would always start with that trailer, with me saying previously on Look at All That Juice. And then it would play the previous stream. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of work, but it was fun. And I did it for, I think, a month.
Yeah.
Which is like 8 streams, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think it was after a year where I started playing the same games consistently, or not the same games, but I stuck to one game until I finished it. That's when sort of things were slowly coming together and I was coming into my own. And that's where I started building around the gimmicks and things like that. So,
yeah.
You know.
Are there any games you didn't finish?
Oh, there's a few, I'm sure. Yeah, there's a few. I didn't finish Alien Isolation. That's when I first started. I started recently. If you talk about recent games, I started Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Worlds, I think it was. And there's a pretty strong fan base for Monster Hunter, which I didn't really know.
Oh yeah.
And when I got into it, I have to say it just wasn't. It was all right. It just wasn't my thing.
Wasn't for you.
No, it was. I don't know. It was. I can see the appeal. There's a lot of collecting. There's a lot of, catch 'em all type of thing.
Oh yeah.
And you can get very immersed in terms of just getting lost in hunting and collecting. And for me, I'm not so much that anymore. I'm more of like story driven, and I need to react. Like I need to be stimulated when I'm playing something.
Yeah.
So that it's not just, all right, let's run to zone A and collect everything in zone A, then run to zone B and then
grind
the whole thing. It's that grindy feel. And I get it. I understand that there's people who love that, but for me it was just it wasn't for me. But yeah, that's one of the games I didn't finish for sure.
Over time you kind of figured out like what games you were doing, you had kind of a rhythm going on, and then you mentioned that you got into like the gimmicks more. Now I'm familiar with the things that you like to do, and you kind of hinted at it. You got a green screen behind you. What are like the things that make your stream stand out? What are the things that you do that are particular to you?
Right. Well, people that know who I am, I come from my main background, my professional background is sales, right?
Okay.
And I've been in sales all my life. So with that being said, when you are closing a deal, when you're negotiating a deal, the number one thing that the customer needs to know, or why they are going to you, or what you have to sell, is what's in it for me. And with that attitude, it's very much like, how am I going to convince people to come to my stream? What is going to be the hook? Because the way I look at it is, the minute a viewer comes into your stream, you don't have that much time to convince that person to stay or to follow or even just to watch like for a few seconds, right? So with me, what do I do? So I have this whole routine where people, for example, if you raid my channel, this is lately, for the most part, when I first started doing this, it's been nothing but love and admiration for it. People love it. Lately, but as the channel grows, you start expanding, you start experiencing people who may not appreciate it as much. Maybe they might think it's a bit too personal. But for me, I mean, I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing. I love to do it. People in my community love it. So, but what I do is, when you raid my channel, there's no, first of all, it's all with good intentions, right? And, I give you a shout out. I go to your channel. I look at your channel. Like, I read your bio. If you have any links to your bio, I'll follow you on your socials, YouTube, Twitter, Instagram. If you have an Instagram, it's even more hilarious. I'll go to your very first post that you ever posted on Instagram, and I'll leave a heartfelt comment. And then from there, I will, either on your stream or on your Instagram, I'll take one of your photos. I'll Photoshop you out and put you in one of my 10 or 11 hot tubs. And it doesn't end there. I'll cap it off with kisses to the back of your head, equivalent to the amount of people that you brought into your stream.
Right.
Now, for me, it sounds like a lot.
Yeah.
And to a lot of people, it is. Even to my mods, I've been told that it can get a lot. It can get a lot, but I'm usually pretty fast at it. Depending on the reactions and depending on chat, how it flows. Ideally, or rather typically, I would get through that whole entire gimmick in about 5 to 10 minutes. So it's a long process, right? But for me, it's super fun. But there's pros and cons. Like obviously, if you're not fast enough, it could take the wind out of the sails from the stream.
Right.
Depending on, I mean, if you're in the heat of battle in the game, you don't want to stop anything. You want to keep going. But I mean, it's okay. I mean, it's like I said, it's not for everybody. For a lot of people, they love it, and I love it. So, but yeah, that's how I do. That's one of the gimmicks. And on top of the hot tubs shenanigans, I have a whole bunch of scenes that I have.
Yeah.
From showers to horny jail to churches to, motorcycles.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of stuff. Yeah, there's a ton of stuff, and I absolutely love it.
Yeah.
The green screen has given me so much freedom to express my creativity.
Yeah.
So
no, I love that. One of the first things I remember seeing about your stream was the I think you were putting someone in a hot tub. One of the first one of the first times I managed to tune into your stream. I think it was a Lego stream or something, and you did the whole like review of their profile, and then you grabbed and what's super interesting about what you do in all that is it's all like you do it right there. You do it live. Yes. You show like you're even showing your OBS or your Photoshop it very quickly trying to get it done. What does that like? How did you get to that particular gimmick? Like what
how did I come up with that idea?
Yeah, how did you come up with that?
To be honest, it's my brain works really funny that way. Like I could be driving, going to the store. I'll look up in the sky and I'm like, you know what? I need to make a horny jail. So it's
it just
honestly,
comes
that's
to you.
just how it just comes to me. And I think about scenarios that make me laugh. And it's for the hot tub specifically, I say it was at the time there was all that ASMR amaranth stuff going on.
Oh yeah,
immediately I thought of hot tubs.
Right.
And then with regards to cutting out people in the PNGs, that I was just thinking, who can I put in the hot tub?
Right.
Like who goes in there? Like I could put myself in there, but who else? And I remember when I conceived the idea on the spot. I ended up, people were chatting, and they were like, "Oh my god, it's a hot tub!" And I was like, "Hold on, who wants to come in a hot tub?" And then whoever chatted, they were mostly streamers, and I went to their profile, I took their name, put them in the hot tub, and it was just half hour. It was like an hour or 2 hours of just cracking up and putting people in the hot tub.
Yeah.
So.
Man,
yeah, I mean it was just that. Yeah,
that's and I'll tell you that I thought that was fantastic. It's definitely very memorable because I mean I know we all joke about. I think a lot of us joke about hot tubs, and on Twitch and all of that. But the fact that you brought that in and you actually in real time will bring people into a hot tub, that was spectacular.
That's great.
Yeah, man, that's great. Quick question from Blasted in the chat. What's your time zone? When do you normally stream?
I'm on the East Coast.
Okay.
So it's 6:36 in the PM right now.
Right. No. Yeah. What's your schedule look like in terms of?
I recently changed it actually. It used to be Monday, Wednesdays, and Sundays. Now it is Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Sundays. So just Monday moved to Tuesday.
Gotcha.
7:30 p.m. Eastern and Sundays at 10:30 a.m. Eastern. But I should add ish towards the end of each one because I'm usually late by like 10 minutes. Sometimes
I hear
30,
that, dude.
It really depends. Yeah,
I hear that. I
make it up to the people. I usually stay late.
Yeah.
I know we met only recently. I'm not sure if you caught some of my degenerate heathen streams where I jump on and I'm like on for like.
Yeah, you're on. You will go. I've had nights where I will lurk for a bit. Yeah. And then I will go off and I will like go do something like an activity. I'll go hang out with my wife or play some video games with the kids, and it'll literally be hours, and then I'll come back and you're still going, and I'm like, okay. Maybe I'll say hi now that it's like 12 a.m. midnight,
Oh,
or
it's
2 in the
so fun
morning.
because what I love with going long, because so basically whenever I plan to go long, remember I usually plan these in advance with myself. I don't tell anybody else that I'm going longer because for some reason I don't know if anyone else has this ever happened to them, but if I don't tell anyone how long I'm going for, I don't get tired as quickly. But
Right.
if I tell people that, yeah, you know, I'm going to do a 12-hour stream or 24 hours, you know, whatever number you put in your mind, I find that as the stream goes on, I feel that the expectation weighs in and you start to get fatigue a lot quicker.
Yeah.
So what I do is I plan my long stream. So I'll take the day off the following day. That's absolutely number one because I have my 9 to 5, and I'll take the day off the following day. And I sometimes I hint at it. I don't do this anymore because my mods call me out on it. I'll be like, "Yeah, everybody,
They know.
short stream,
Yeah, yeah.
short stream," and then I will just go and go and go. And next thing you know, it's 23 hours into the stream. It's like, all right, guys, I'm kind of tired. I'm gonna go.
That's funny, man.
It's just fun. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm addicted to it. So, but
Yeah.
I don't know if I don't know if I'll be doing longer streams too often these days because now I incorporated my gym. So I neglected my health quite a bit last year. So with
Right.
streaming, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to turn that ship around and start working out more, which I have. So
Yeah.
I've been working out.
Hey, man, I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah.
Definitely that impact on health is real. Like I think
100%.
a lot of us will sometimes put this like the content or the stream before our health.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I talk to
It's
people about it all the time. Now.
yeah. It's very easy to because it's so fun and it's I think what makes why that happens or why so many people I guess put the streams ahead of anything else, I think it's because it's just so easy to do. It's
Hmm.
so easy to do and it feels good
Hmm.
to be able to entertain people, to get people to come in and say hi to you, to get that attention and all that stuff. It's such a huge boost endorphin wise. I don't know if that's the right thing. But yeah, that's what it is. But I think it's mostly because of that. It's just so easy and so fun.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely. I'm glad that you're putting that at
yeah.
first. I mean, I've done it. I've done the I've done the not taking good care of myself, streaming
Yeah.
super late all the time or spending a lot of
Yeah.
time. And yeah, it's balance is something that's really tough. And I think you hit the nail on the head with like it can
Yeah.
be really easy, right? Like
It's
just to
addictive,
like
yeah.
leave it. Oh, I'll only be on for a couple hours, and then it's
Yeah.
2 in the morning or 3 in the morning, and then you're like, oh no.
Exactly. You're having fun, chat's vibing, you get a few raids, and then like a hype train goes off, or
Yeah.
you know, all these cool things happen, and it's just an experience, you know. It's such a rush.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah.
What was one of like, because you've been doing this for a couple of years now, right? Like how?
Just over it. I eclipsed my third year,
Okay,
October of last year.
that's
So yeah, it's
impressive, man.
just over 3 years.
With just over 3 years under your belt, like
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
has and we kind of touched this, but like with the
Mhm.
evolution of your content, like how has it
Yeah.
changed? How has it gotten better over the years?
Um. Well, in terms of content, I would say that it's obviously more refined in terms of what I choose to do on stream.
Hmm.
Um, I've lost, even though I like to push the boundaries of what is allowed on Twitch, and I like to push the boundaries a little bit in terms of that fourth wall
Yeah.
with the viewer being involved in my streams. Like I said, with the hot tub stuff, it can be overwhelming. Like you visit my channel and I'm grabbing you and putting you into my show, right?
Right.
So it can be very overwhelming. So in terms of what's changed, I would say pretty much my demeanor is the biggest thing. How I interact with chatters, how I conduct myself with people. The one thing for anyone who's looking into streaming, I feel that I highly recommend that you be a viewer first and really absorb the atmosphere and the
Culture.
environment of being a viewer first. Like you can
Hmm.
see how chat moves, you can see what people say, you can see how streamers react. If you do that homework in advance, you have that's like 50% of the game that you understand, like probably more. Because once you turn it on, there is that overwhelming feeling. Oh, holy shit! Now I'm in front. Oh, I'm sorry if I'm swearing. By the way,
No, you're
I
fine.
gotta, I gotta catch that.
You're good. You're
Um,
good.
you're in front of an audience, and it can be very overwhelming, and it's a bit of a shock. But having that viewer background, you won't be surprised by what is being said in chat.
Hmm.
And I think that's the biggest thing. So in terms of what house has changed, it's um definitely being more confident in how I present myself and how I talk. I've hit a lot of it hasn't been completely smooth sailing. There's been lots of bumps in the road. Um, a lot of hard lessons I've learned as well, and it's shaped the content in a way where I'm confident with the ideas I put out, but I'm also more aware of, okay, not everyone's gonna accept it, not everyone's gonna vibe with it,
Right.
and I've learned to be okay with that kind of thing.
Yeah.
In terms of what I put out there, I would say that it's become more personal. So, as an example, when you first start out as a stream, I'm pretty sure we all did the same thing. You go to Fiverr, you look up emotes, and you get whatever you can to personalize it, and then you go with whatever design. And no offense to Fiverr, I still use Fiverr. No offense to that, but if you go for logos or whatever, you kind of have the same flair. There's a very similar theme, right?
Hmm.
um, with logos and designs and whatnot. So when I first started, I was coming out with alerts and gimmicks and things that I can put on for my bid alerts. And you have to remember that you don't own those alerts, right? We usually use video snapshots from our favorite movie or TV show, and that
Right.
is your alert for 69 or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
So um, I've learned that over time, I've noticed that people would I'm not gonna say take my ideas. I would say that they looked at my stuff and they feel inspired, and then they use those ideas for themselves, right?
Hmm.
At first, it kind of bothered me in terms of like, hey, you got that from me or whatever. But then it happened so quickly because it was happening so often that I learned very quickly not to care about it.
Hmm.
And there's only one way that I could stop that from happening, or rather to be more comfortable with what I'm doing, is start making my own content. And that's when I started doing my own video editing, leaning into my abilities as a video editor and as a
Right.
filmmaker. I made sure to film my own scenes, I made sure to edit my own videos, and I make those videos part of my intro or part of my design that I present on my streams. Like, for example, my intro that I do, or um which I started doing recently, my video trailers that I do for certain video games. Like, I'll play a hype trailer, like a 2-minute trailer or 1-minute trailer, and that's something that I edited and I put together.
Hmm.
So that's definitely one of the main things that's changed from the first year to now, is learning how to really personalize my stuff so that when people come to my channel, it's not like, oh, that alert is from this movie. It's like, oh shoot, that trailer is Juice. Like, that's his style. That he did that.
Yeah.
So it's become more personal and, dare I say, a little bit more professional.
Yeah.
But yeah,
That's
that's
awesome.
it.
Yeah, I was going to bring up the fact that you have that background in videography and that
Yeah.
you've got those editing skills. They
Yes.
definitely seem to have, from my perspective, made a difference
Mhm.
at the production level of like your
Yeah.
stream.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still have a lot to learn. Like, the things that I do is just a small tip of the iceberg. Like, there is so much more that's possible. Like, throughout the years, I've met some extremely talented creators on the platform, video editors,
Oh yeah.
special effects people. Like, I've seen what they can do. I'm blown away. I'm like, oh my God, there's no way I won't be able to achieve that unless I put in some serious time into studying a brand new craft, almost what it seems.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, it definitely adds to it. I love adding that personalization. Not everyone could could pull off, and if you could, that's great. But at least I have my own flair and my own style
Yeah.
for it. So it's I'm very proud of the things of
Yeah,
that
man.
nature. So,
No, I love that your work shows. Like I mean,
yeah.
especially those who are on Twitch and have seen, many, many, many channels,
Mhm.
a lot of them start to look and feel very similar. But I think what I
Yeah.
appreciate the most about yours, like you called out, it's you personalized it with
Yeah.
your own sort of things that you like the gimmicks, but also like
Yeah.
just using your editing skills and the videos that you add. It all turns into something that really stands out across
Yeah.
most other streams. Do you like, you called out that there's more to learn. Is there anything
Mhm.
like things that you want to work towards of skill wise or like
Um,
making yourself better at streaming or
sure. Well, with me, it was more of right now, I guess you can call it has a professional feel.
mm,
I guess just for lack of a better word. I'm by no means am I actually a professional. I'm just a dude goofing off with software. Like I'm
right,
really
right,
not
right.
doing much, right? But
Yeah.
in a perfect world, if I had the time to really dive into this craft, I would go into 3D modeling. I would learn how to properly make animated transitions. I would love to make animation like cartoons. Like
Hmm.
it would be like a whole nother level of education that I would have to really commit myself to. And so right now I just got to do what I can. So this kind of reminds me of that's probably a bad example because obviously with the implications of P. Diddy and all this stuff. But Jay-Z, right? Listen,
Right.
Jay-Z was one of my favorite rappers, man.
I
He
get
hasn't
it.
been implicated yet, but uh, one time Jay-Z was interviewed, and I'm paraphrasing here. I don't remember exactly what he said, but I do remember the message he put out to the people watching him. I remember he said that as a rapper, it's not easy to be super entertaining on stage. You're just with your microphone and you're rapping away, right? So he made things his movements a little bit more exaggerated, like when he's hyping up the crowd, make the simple things, simple moves a little bit more than what it is. So with myself, I like to look at my video editing like that, where I can't add too many special effects, not because I don't want to, just because my knowledge is limited in that regard.
Right.
So I will do my best to dress up what would be a simple picture of a scene and add animation to it, add something special to it, or add just something that it brings life to that scene, right?
Right.
So I would exaggerate a lot of the things. So it's all the little details that add up.
Yeah.
But yes, it would definitely I would love to get into more animation, more special effects.
Yeah.
Because I mean I have so many ideas, but just to put it on paper, it's difficult. Or
Yeah.
rather to put it into motion is very
Yeah.
difficult.
No, it sounds like there's and this is pretty true, I think, for most of us who do this. Like there's always something. There's always something to learn. There's always
Yeah,
something to improve at or add. And
100%.
I can easily say that there's a lot of creators out there who would even love to be at like the level of video like editing
Yeah,
and skill that you have.
right.
Yeah. But even when you get to that point, there's still so many other things one could do or learn. So
There's so much, and it's very, once you hit that wall of your skill, it's very daunting to break through again to another level because it's just another language to learn entirely. And
yeah.
like for example, I use Adobe, right? Love it or hate the program, it's a good system, right?
Right.
And jumping from simple video editing, like the things that you can do, for example, with Adobe Premiere and Adobe After Effects is obviously night and day. Uh, the best analogy I can give is if you're trying to do some special effects in Adobe or do some editing in After Effects, it's like cutting grass with scissors.
Hmm.
You're just not going to get anywhere. It's mind-blowingly slow and redundant. But the minute you get a hang of it, oh, it's fast. It's fast. It's super fast.
Hmm.
So I'm slowly learning and trying to grow my knowledge on After Effects because I know there's so much more that I can do with it.
Mhm.
It's really just having the time and patience, mostly the patience for it,
Yeah,
and the energy to get through it. But yeah, it's challenging for sure. But there is a possibility for more growth, and that's what I'm hoping to do.
that's
So
awesome. That's
yeah,
great. There's always something to shoot for. So
100%. Yeah,
yeah.
100.
Of everything you've done over the years, like what is the most like what are you the most proud of over this time being like a creator?
Definitely my ovarian cancer charity. I
Mhm.
remember when I first started streaming because me and my wife, our history is that she's had to deal with illnesses related to ovarian cancer, which is why we do not have any children. Um, so when she was going through that, obviously I wasn't streaming. So when
Mhm.
I started streaming, or rather when I started going on Twitch, I was watching obviously different streamers. I saw like charity streams and whatnot. And I remember when I first started, I was like, I want to do a charity that benefits ovarian cancer organizations. So my proudest moment, I would say it's evolving. I hope that it continues to be successful. I hope it continues to get attention. But my biggest accomplishment, and again, thanks to the community, was just past October, where we raised just over, or rather, we raised $7,025.69
Wow.
USD, and I was really happy with that. And it just so happens it was very poetic because it was at that time where I actually got partner. So it
Yeah.
all happened all at the same time. So I would say that the ovarian cancer charity and drawing so much attention to it and support is definitely my biggest accomplishment and the most proud of, more so than partner,
Yeah.
100%.
That's
Yeah,
incredible. And
yeah,
thank you for sharing that. I mean,
yeah. Of course.
that's that's certainly couldn't imagine how hard that is to like
Yeah.
be with someone in that situation. And then,
Hmm.
I can say that that's really it takes a lot to be able to not just talk about it like
Hmm.
publicly on your stream, but then take that step and do some fundraising and do some good with your time on the platform. So yeah, thanks.
Yeah.
Thank you
No,
for sharing that.
yeah. Well, I mean, we've been through our rough patch. We've cried all of our tears. So when it comes time to bring it to the forefront and to talk about it, it's just like talking about anything else. Obviously,
Right.
it's obviously more personal, it's more meaningful, but I think that what we've been through has definitely hardened our resolve, especially for mine, and I have no problem talking about it all because it brings me happiness knowing that um we are not alone and people aren't alone and you're not suffering alone. You don't have to uh you know feel that no one else is going through it, and you have somebody to rely on. You have a stream you could where people can relate. So
Yeah.
that it definitely hits home with that one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah, of course. Of
Yeah.
course.
You mentioned partner as well. So you
Yes.
also got partner in that time frame. What was
Yes.
the partner journey like for you? How did that all go?
Uh so uh oh man. Where do I start? So let me just say that when I announced the partner push, that's not when the partner push started.
Okay.
Partner push started a year ago, a year before I announced it, when I was able to look at my schedule and I had it in my mind. Remember, I'm a numbers guy. I'm driven by my it's a very toxic trait, and I don't recommend anyone to adopt this mentality. Don't adopt it. I'm built different. I can say that I am definitely built different in a crazy type of way. So I honestly recommend do not do this. So again, to go back to me talking about sales and always being in sales and whatnot, my value was always judged by what I brought to the table. in terms of performance, in terms of quota and whatnot. So when I looked at the streams, yes, I loved it. That's the number one thing. You have to love what you're doing.
Yeah,
You have
absolutely.
to love. You have to love the reasons why you stream and the reasons why you do anything. The reason why you do it has to be enough to get you through the days when you don't want to do it. So you gotta picture as if, in a way, and again, don't do what I do. You gotta imagine that there's people relying on you to be successful, and that's how I always look at everything. Um, I had lost my job at the time, and I was tapped out creatively. I wasn't motivated, and then just something just snapped and said, "Let's go on Twitch," right?
Mm-hmm.
So after a year's worth of streaming, I had this idea that I wanted to be bigger. I wanted to take this to another level. And when I was talking to one of my first friends I made on the platform, his name was Chris Belair. We used to talk about Twitch all the time. We talked about streamers and all these things. And I started doing research and I saw that like people like XQC, for example, I would go to his Twitch tracker and I'll see, holy moly, this guy's streaming for like 15, 20 hours or whatever, how long he would stream for.
Yeah.
And right away, I was like, all right, let me look at my streams. Let's see what I'm doing differently. And I saw with my streams that I was only streaming 3 hours, 4 hours at a time, which is fine, which is normal. But I also noticed that when I would get rated, I would end stream right away because it's at the end of my day, right?
Yeah.
And let's say I'm at 20 people, I get a raid, now I'm at 40, and let's end stream. So it ends at 40. But I saw my average was like 20.
Yep.
Or 21 or whatever. So I figured, you know what? Let's experiment. Let's see what we can do. And again, you got to love what you're doing. And it just so happens I started streaming longer. More people started coming in. More raids started coming in. And then the averages get slowly bumped up. And I was like, hey, it's working. This is cool. Not only can I stream longer, but it's actually working because people want to watch me. And I was very blessed and lucky. Now, anybody who streams long, this formula may not work for you because you might not have that audience yet. So
Right.
streaming long is absolutely detrimental to your health and I don't recommend it. But if you see that you have an audience and you see that people want to come to see you, for me it's like, hey, let's stick around longer for the people to come see me. At the same time, again, I love what I'm doing. I love the game. So that is the number one motivator, more so than trying to get people to see me. So about on my second year, I said, let's change things up. Let's change things up. Let's do longer streams. Let's see where it goes.
Mm-hmm.
And then I started seeing that rise in viewership. And it was only until the third year where those averages started staying where they were, but consistent with the hours I was putting in. So I was putting 8-9 hours at a time, but the viewers were there.
Yeah.
And the people were there. And again, I still loved what I was doing. And this is, again, I don't recommend this at all. But there are days where I would see that, let's say a big raid were to come in. All right, let's stick around a little bit further. Let's push this further so that the average gets pushed a little bit higher. And again, I still love what I'm doing. Let's keep going, right? So it was motivating for me because I was seeing my plan actually work. And then on the third year, that's when I was at that range where it's like, what if I announce a push and see what happens?
Yeah.
And I did, and luckily I rolled the dice, and luckily it worked.
Yeah.
And here we are. So again, I attribute it to being blessed with a great community, being blessed with knowing some really good people who love what I do and who appreciate what I do for them. And that's why I go longer. It's like, yes, okay, the viewership helps, but at the same time, it's because the people are there to watch me, and I want to stay longer for them too. It just so happens it goes hand in hand, right?
Right.
So the push started about a year ago, understanding that what will work for me, what goes well with me, is that my streams go longer.
Yeah.
But again, there's many more factors to that. It's your ability to entertain, it's your ability to retain viewership. It's one of the biggest things that I find that what could hurt a streamer big time is not paying attention to chat.
Yeah.
I always make sure to read or at least catch everything as much as I can. I'll even scroll back into chat and read whatever I can read. So no matter how busy it gets, and I think that's it's an important attribute to have that helps with that interaction and that retention.
Yeah,
yeah,
that's incredible. Given that amount of time, how did you ever feel burned out or like any kind of stress with it?
No, that's the part where I'm very much built different than a lot of people. Like I don't normally get burnt out or stressed because it's sort of like the way I look at streaming is sort of like a professional basketball player. I forgot which player it was. I forgot who said it, but it was a person was interviewing one of the star basketball players, and the interview, I think it was Derrick Rose. I'm pretty sure. Anyways, regardless, they asked the basketball player, "Are you stressed?" And he's like, "No, I'm not stressed." He's like, "Why not?" Because we're playing basketball. It's a sport. There are people out there who's like a full-time nurse, firefighter. Those people are stressed because they're putting their lives on the line. They're helping other people. I'm just playing a game. Like I'm not stressed at all. So that's the way I look at it. Like I'm not stressed. Like I'm playing all these cool games. I'm chatting with people. I'm not stressed at all. If I can stay in my chair without suffering any type of physical issues, like I would be going for as long as I could.
Yeah.
And so no, burnout did not happen. I will say that burnout did kind of set in after the partner push.
Really?
When I did achieve partner, because at that time I was doing the charity stream.
Right.
I was doing the charity stream and I did the partner push. And when it all came to fruition and ended, it was sort of this big exhale came over me. Right. And it was like, okay, what do I do now? And that's when I started falling into the whole Lego side of things even more, because it was cozy. It was relaxing. It wasn't stressful. I didn't have to look at a game. I was just concentrating on the build and the chat. And I was streaming less hours. I was like 3 hours, 4 hours. Like it was much, much lower than what I'm normally doing. And when I started doing that, I felt that it wasn't me. I was like, not the Lego, but streaming less hours. I was like, no, I can't do that. It's not fair for the people who expect to see me, who want to watch me. And so that's when I started, oh my God, what am I doing? And then it was the second week of November where I was like, okay, I need to get back to what I'm doing. Like I need to stop this, you know?
Right.
But I think it was a little bit of a burnout, a little bit of like, okay, what now? But I quickly got over it. I was like, all right, let's keep going, you know. Let's keep going and see what we can do.
That's definitely tough, right? Like especially when folks do those pushes and they're really trying to, and you know this is a numbers person, right? Like you're trying to hit those target numbers, and then
oh yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, there were moments during the push where you feel, again, it's no one's responsibility to help you with the push.
Right.
It's if it's no one's job to get to fulfill your dreams. It's up to you, right?
Yeah.
And there were moments where I felt that, or I doubted it, and I was like, is this really gonna happen? Did I do this too early? Should I have mentioned it at all? Maybe I shouldn't have. Like there was lots of doubts in my mind. And then you start thinking not only negatively, but you start thinking you start thinking like, well, how come this person's not there or that person's not there? And it gets pretty bad. But trust me, it didn't last long. In terms of those thoughts, I really had to snap myself out of it and just like, you know what, just keep doing it, keep grinding, keep doing the streams. it'll happen, right? And just you have to stay positive. But yeah, you could be your own worst enemy for sure. So it wasn't all easy. Thankfully, it wasn't a long push. It was 2 months, I believe, when
Yeah.
I announced it. But even then, it was like it was a lot of questions. Like, am I going to do it? Am I going to do it?
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not easy. But there were some really good people that helped, and there was a lot of people that showed up, and I have so many people to thank, and I still do. So, and I say it constantly that I would not have been here without the help of the people. So
Yeah.
that's just how it is. Yeah.
Or you tell someone who's like trying to go for a partner push or is considering doing something like that, what kind of advice or wisdom would you give them?
The main advice I would give is trust your community. Try not to do it too early.
Mm.
Remember why you're doing it, and then it doesn't have to be profound. I know that there's two sides of this coin. A lot of people say don't do it because of the reasons of the numbers dropping off, which is true. It happens
Right.
because listen, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. There's a lot of gatekeeping on the platform.
Yeah.
There's tons of gatekeeping on the platform. There's lots of favoritism on the platform. So there's a lot. I've encountered people who told me that they do not go to partnered streams because they already made it. There's a
Yeah.
lot of gatekeeping. There's a lot of favoritism. So that will play a role into your psyche. That's going to play a role into your push. So keep that in mind because that is going to hurt you mentally 100%. And you have to get over it fast because there's a reason why, and you have to look at it this way. When people stream at the same time as you, and I've learned this as well. When I started streaming, uh, a lot of people love the hot tub stuff, right?
Yeah.
And they loved it so much. They were like, "This is my first year of streaming," and they were like, "Juice for partner. Juice is gonna get partner first year." And then I found out that people were doing a pool, like a betting pool, to see when I
Oh
would reach
boy.
partner that first year.
Oh no.
So you could imagine,
Pressure there.
and they didn't know that I knew,
Right.
but I knew it was there. So you could imagine the pressure that I was in,
Yeah.
thinking that, oh, it didn't happen at the end of that year. Shoot, am I a failure?
Yeah.
And then there was stress with that as well. So you
That's
have
rough,
to.
dude.
Oh, it's crazy rough. I'm surprised I kept going after that because
Yeah.
honestly, after that, and I kept all of this to myself too.
Yeah.
Um, Papa. So I see that. So with that being said, when if you're looking to push, just remember that it's okay if there are people that don't watch you. It's okay. Like you're gonna share viewers, you're gonna share um the same person, and that person might not want to watch you because you're just not their cup of tea that day.
Mhm.
Maybe they want to watch something else. Maybe they rather go whoever it is. One thing, for example, with myself, I introduce people to the community all the time. I'm a very community based streamer. I don't care who you are. If I like you, I'll shout you out, and that's just how it is.
Right.
I've lost many people to other streamers.
Yeah.
I've introduced so many people where like, oh my god, that's my favorite streamer now, and I don't see them ever again.
Yeah.
That's okay because I'm not competition for anybody. You're not my competition. Uh, no one else is mine. I'm not your there's no competition. It's whether you like me or you don't. You're allowed to have your taste is allowed to change,
Yeah.
right? So that's one thing I would tell someone who is looking to push. Don't do it too early. Trust your community. Um, don't look into who's not there. Concentrate on who's there, and really concentrate on your content. Um, because, like I said, the biggest stigma or the biggest reason why people tell you not to do it is because people assume that you're not built to take that hit at the end of the push where your numbers are supposed to dip.
Right.
Or the other reason is it might not happen and you'll be pushing for so long, and next thing you know you're going backwards because now your push will then become a numbers watch, right?
Yeah.
And now you'll be looking at viewers instead of your people. You're looking at them as a number, and like, how come there's not more of you? You know, so there's a lot of negative things to it, but at the same time, you have to have this maturity. Look, there's a reason why people celebrate follower goals. If you celebrate follower goals, why can't you celebrate other goals, right? That are based on numeric value. It's okay. It's not a bad thing. You just have to be mature enough to handle the ups and downs of it.
Right.
Kind of like stocks, right? Like if you I don't know if you ever invested in stocks before. I've invested in stocks, and I've lost thousands of dollars. I've also gained thousands of dollars. And I've also seen my stocks dip from a couple cents, which would result in a loss of $5,000 if I sold. The problem is I never sold. I held, and then I waited and I waited. Luckily, I gambled and it went back up. So
Right.
you have to be able to handle the ups and downs of that. So if you do decide to push, just make sure that you can handle that. Um, and don't put the pressure on your audience to be there for you.
Yeah.
So the best thing I could say is if you're doing the push, make sure you're very close to doing it. I think I did it at the border of what I think was acceptable to push, which was at 65, 66 CCV.
Right.
And that's why I decided to push. And again, because my community is very raid friendly, I was able to accomplish it in 2 months. So, and that's when it was announced that raids had counted. So there's another layer to that, right? If it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have it. So
Yeah.
there's that too.
Definitely, your point of like, don't do it too soon. I see a lot
Yeah.
of people who are like, yeah, I'm going to push, and maybe they're not quite there yet,
Yeah.
right? Whether it be, and obviously there's a lot of factors to take into consideration, right? Not just like the average viewership, but like you said, you get a lot of raids, things like that, that can definitely contribute to growing your viewership average. Yeah, because it's really tough if you're looking at trying to even consider partner, and maybe you're in the 50s, but you don't get as many raids as big enough to keep you up there. So
it's tough. And
yeah,
sorry to interrupt, but Papa Paws brought up a good point. I
no, this
did
is
a
good.
soft push. So I call it a soft push,
How
but I
did
mean
that
I still
work?
told
Yeah,
everybody. I thought, well, I mean it worked. So there is the push where you announce it everywhere, right? I
right.
would call that a hard push. You go on Twitter, you go on Instagram, you go
I
everywhere
see.
else and say, "Hey,
Yeah,
everybody, I am pushing."
tell everyone.
Um, with myself, it happened where I'm part of a stream team called the Rat Pack, and during this event, this raid train event, they raided into me, and I made it. You know what? I'm gonna let people know that now, then and now, I'm pushing for partner. If you know, you know. I'm only telling people if you raid in, and that was it. I didn't make any announcement on socials. It was all through Discord and raids that came in.
I see.
I would do my introduction. I would say, "Hey, by the way, everybody, I am also pushing for partner." And I actually made a special video, a Jean-Claude Van Damme,
Oh
like that
boy.
Jean-Claude Van Damme, when he does the splits on the
Yeah.
Volvo trucks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I put my face on there, and I put like pushing for partner or whatever.
Yeah.
And I made it fun, right? And it wasn't a hard announcement. It was like a soft announcement, so saying, "Hey, everybody, so you know, I'm pushing." And people in my circles, they helped that tremendously, and it was word of mouth.
I see.
It was word of
Yeah.
mouth. So I think that possibly added like my CCV in terms of numbers and stuff. Like I do workout streams now. I hit single digits in those streams. Like or sometimes like 9, 8 people in there. And it's like I don't, for me, it's like it's okay. It's like I love my workout streams. I love showing off what I'm doing, helping people get healthy, motivating people. And it's okay. I don't care about the number. When I do my regular streams, uh it's back to the CCV that I had prior to pushing, so between 50s and 60s roughly.
Yeah.
But during the push, it was like at 100, 120, 80, 90.
Right.
And again, and this is the drop off that other people will warn you about is that once you're done, the audience will tend to be like, all right, you're not the priority anymore. Let's go help somebody else, or let's go watch somebody else.
Right.
And that's that drop off that's going to happen. So, but again, if you could handle that, it's for a lot of people it happens. For me, it's sort of just stayed around that 50-60 range, which I'm again extremely grateful.
Yeah.
But again, at this point, I'm glad that it's over and I can just put that in the back of my mind, just concentrate on the content, concentrate on the people that are there. But yeah, just again, just to circle back, that's my biggest piece of advice is if you do decide to push, just uh really concentrate on who's there, concentrate on your content, and try not to do it too early and try not to let those negative thoughts get to you because it will happen.
Yeah.
It will happen. So, and just be satisfied. Hey, listen, if you get it, you get it. And whatever happens after, deal with it, but you got it. So,
Yeah. No, that's great. That's
that's
great
all it is.
wisdom.
Yeah.
I appreciate that. It's certainly, I've talked to a number of partners on and off this podcast, and everyone's journey is a bit different, but I think one thread that I think you all share is definitely like understanding what you're going for and understanding what might happen afterwards. I see that pretty consistently across all partners. And some partners, whether they get it on their first try or their second try or whenever, they all kind of realize that, hey, I need to understand what I'm getting into, the commitment required, the mental, the mentality of the whole thing during and after, because like you call
And
out.
and just remember that there's no I think my biggest pet peeve is when people talk about partner, like when you do get it. A lot of people downplay it. It's like, oh, it's really nothing. It doesn't do anything, which is kind of true. But be proud of the accomplishment. It's a great accomplishment. Whether you have, whether you drop, and I said this before, if your CCV drops down to like 1 the next day, you're still a partner, baby.
You did it.
You still did it.
It still
You still
counted.
freaking did it.
Yeah.
It still counts. A win is a win. So
yeah.
there doesn't have to be anything profound about it. Like you don't need to say like, oh, I want to become partner because when I was a kid, I saw this check mark on the billboard and I cried.
Brought tears to my eyes.
Yeah, brought tears to my eyes. It was so good. It doesn't have to be any profound. If it's a goal, it's a goal. Why do we do things to do things? Like why do you strive for a platinum trophy? Why do you strive for gamer scores or like speed running or anything? Be great at your job. There's whatever it is. There doesn't be anything profound. For me, it was just a goal. I wanted to achieve it.
Yeah.
And that's it. And don't worry if people tell you like not to push or not to do anything. Understand why you want to do it, and when that's it. If it's a goal, then it's a goal.
Yeah.
If you have more of a significant story behind it, all right, good for you. Then push for it, do it. But
I like remember you calling that out.
Yeah, and you know what? And in the end, once you do get partner, I have to say, like, yeah, it's fun saying hi in chat. You get recognized. Yeah, it's cool. It's the attention. I mean, why do we stream in the first place? It's to entertain and the attention feels great. So yeah, you get a little bit of attention. I personally don't know what else is great about partner other than being able to flex a check mark next to your name. Let's be real, that's really what it is. And other than that, I mean, I haven't really reached out to companies for sponsorships or anything. Like I have no desire to become this big streamer. If it happens, it happens. I'll push towards it.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to make that my be all and end all, right? Obviously, I'd love to have 10,000 people watching me, but at the same time, it's like, do I really want to have 10,000 people watching me, right?
Yeah, but do you really want that? Because I think a lot of people actually think they want that until it happens.
I think a lot of people do,
Yeah.
And I think that maybe there's a lot of people who misvalue the how do you say, the environment that they're in now. Like for example, with the people that I chill with on a regular basis, it's so good. Like it's so fun. Like I'm in Discord almost every day. hanging out with the same people every day.
Yeah.
I go to streams, like, and I start my streams, I see those familiar faces. It's great. Like,
Yeah.
no. So, like, for example, as a partner, you do get some perks. One of the perks is you have access to a partner Discord server, and
Mhm.
in this partner Discord server, you can collaborate. You can join other areas of partnership. Like, for example, in Canada, UK, anywhere, any region, and talk to the partners in that area and try to collaborate. And more importantly, you're offered opportunities to be on the front page.
Right.
They ask you regularly, would you like to apply for front page? I did front page one time when I was not a partner. It was for the charity stream, and I have to say I did not like it.
Mm.
You have to put up your security in your streams. They recommend you do it. You have to change. More importantly, you have to change your streams to PG. And by changing my stream, it's easier for me to start a brand new channel as PG than to rearrange my current channel. There's so much
Yeah.
sus going on.
Yeah.
Like, it's so many things, and it's not going to be me. And I don't want it. I don't want it.
Right.
So I understand why people do it, why they want to be on front page.
Yeah.
I understand, like, it's a great boost in viewership, but albeit embedded views, and even though it's embedded, the idea is, oh, there might be that one person watching who's going to give you that little boost, and like, oh my god, you're gonna blow or whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, I don't care for it. I don't care for it. The only time I would probably consider it is just so people know I'm raising money for ovarian cancer, but that's, even then, it's like, I don't care for it.
Does that mean that you'll, like, will there ever be a time where you think you'll want to do something on front page?
Well, I'll never say never.
Yeah.
It will have to be a really big reason.
A good reason to. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, there has to be a big reason why, and it would have to be because of the charity stream. It's like, all right, I'm gonna remove all these sus alerts. Like, you got
a fair amount of them. I'll tell you that.
Is it? This stream is not 18 plus, right?
No,
it's not, right? Okay.
No.
Okay, I'm not gonna say it. I'll be like, when I open. No. Hey, listen. Okay, put it this way: when I open my OBS, I'm just like, there are so many private parts like that need to be removed. There is so much booty that needs to come off, right? There is just so much, and I'm just like, nah, I can't
do it. It's almost easier to start over, right? Like,
it's very easy to start over. I might as well do that. Right. But I mean, besides the point, I mean, shit, I just turned on my Xbox. The one thing that okay, here's a perfect example. You know how people say there's a drop off when you get partner?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, imagine this. Okay, imagine this. How would you feel? And this is an honest opinion. This is my honest opinion.
Okay.
If I'm not hating on anyone that wants to go on front page. More power to you. I hope you find quadruple the success.
Yeah.
But for me, I think it's more of a mental hit because you're on front page. You look at your corner, like, oh my god, there's like 3,000 people in here, and then you start your stream off next stream, and you're like, damn, there's 50 people in here. Right to the 2,000 people. So it's like, there's that too, right? You have to be,
that dramatic difference of viewership.
There's a huge drop. It's like, for me, it's coupled with the stress of first time chatters, coupled with the stress of having to be PG.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Thank
for
you.
me, it's no. For me, it's no thanks. Again,
I gotcha.
If I were to go on front page, is so that other people can benefit from front page. As in, like, it will be collab heavy, it will be charity heavy, and I'll put the focus on other people. That's
there you go.
That's my vision for front page, because you know what? I'd rather give people the opportunity to be exposed than me, because I don't need it.
Right.
I honestly don't need it. I'll work on it my own way. But one thing that a lot of people need to understand too is success on socials has a lot to do with luck.
Oh yeah.
It has a lot to do with luck. Like,
Absolutely.
you can post You can post as much as you'd like on TikTok, Instagram, and whatnot. Yeah, you'll build an audience very slowly. But for me, it's like I'll post once in a while, and if something were to hit and go viral, then cool.
Yeah.
But I'm really gonna focus on the people that are there. Focus on the people that are there, and you know what? And don't get me wrong. Like, I'll try to grow the channel, but I think that I have other ways to do it, and I'll try different methods to do it, and that's it.
Yeah.
We'll see what happens.
I like that. And I think this is definitely this perspective comes from someone who, you know, you've had some time, you've done this, you've done the partner journey, you've seen it. So I feel like you're kind of in a place where you understand where you are, you understand what you want, and it makes, you know, it makes a big difference when you kind of understand those things, because then you can be okay, right? If your numbers are in a certain place that aren't necessarily where you were before. And I don't think I've ever had this conversation about front page specifically with someone, but I think that your perception of it is pretty good in terms of, like, especially someone in your space, right? Like, where you sit, you're like, hey, I have to change everything to be PG-13. I have to deal with the stress of being on front page. You know,
there's so much penis. I'm sorry.
Penis everywhere.
There's so much. I didn't realize
it's
how many semen jokes I made in my stream. Jesus Christ.
Do you need a counter? Like a semen?
I may need a counter. Yeah, like, there's a lot. There's a lot. Tangia. Blurb.
Oh man, yeah.
Yo, that listen, my streams is fever dream, yo. Yeah. But yeah, I mean that's just, hey, listen, like I said, more power to you. If you want to do front page, absolutely do it. It's a wonderful experience. If you can do it. And oh, by the way, you don't have to be a partner to be on front page. Like I said, I was on front page before I became partner. If you have a big charity coming up, email Twitch.
There's opportunities.
And let them know. There's opportunities. You can be on front page. You can do it. And then they'll send you the same PDF they sent me. Here are all the rules you need to do. Here's what we need to follow. And then you'll have Twitch staff watching you in your streams, and they'll make sure that you're abiding by the TOS rules and whatnot. And that's it. Like, that's just the way it is. So yeah,
penises everywhere.
I mean, anyone can. I don't think, to be fair, okay, I never reached the 500 north of like 300 on front page.
Right.
I was on people's recommended, but I think it's because they already followed me. But I wasn't on front page. I was watching for it. I was hoping that people would take a screenshot of it. As it turns out, I met another. I wasn't even on the carousel, but I ended up speaking with someone in South Korea.
Yo, look at you.
And then they told me, Juice, you were on front page. I'm like, BS, where was I on front page? And they went they were on stream, they went on their desktop, and then they showed me the carousel. You were here. I'm like, I was? Yo, South Korea, let's go.
Yo, I have a story about Korean content. So
let's hear it.
People were someone reached out to me on Twitter one day and was like, hey, do you know about people using your content? And I'm like, what do you mean people are using my content?
Oh no.
And so I get screenshots and a link, and it's a YouTube channel that literally grabbed my streams and just wholesale took my stream, like a Lego stream. Yeah. For those that don't know, I build Lego, like Juice has been doing lately. And wholesale take the whole stream and edit out like the starting soon screen and the ending screen, and they took, like, they dubbed over, like, they took out all of the sound, they dubbed over in Korean random stories that would be read out loud, like Picture those YouTube videos where they're like, you won't believe what this husband said to his wife.
I know exactly what you mean.
So it was one of those, but it was all in Korean. And what was
That's
amazing
amazing.
was they didn't do it once. And this channel had hundreds of videos. They didn't do it once. I was a block of their content. Like 20, 30 videos just of me building Lego. And like I'm talking, but it's all dubbed. Someone read a story out loud in Korean about you won't. It'd be like, and I remember running it through Google Translate on a couple of these videos, but it'd be like, my wife never knew how I felt about the time that she told her sister how we were when we were dating.
That's
blah,
genius.
blah, blah. And they were getting some of the highest video like views of those were like 20,000. People were either watching it or they had like bots viewing it or something. But they were getting like tens of thousands of views on this Korean channel of me in like just chatting or the podcast or building Lego. They just stripped anything that showed that would identify me, but they forgot to, in like one of them, they forgot to take out my watermark that had my name on it. And that's how someone hit me up on Twitter, because that person was getting their content taken too randomly. And then I started digging through the channel and finding other creators. Like there was a period of time where they did hit up a couple just Lego builders and grabbed theirs. But for some reason, they used mine for like weeks and weeks and weeks. And I think I tallied it up. I was like, they got like 60, 70,000 views off of these videos.
Damn.
And I basically like, I ended up reporting the channel, posting about it on socials. I did some digging for a couple days. I took a weekend and like a day or two, and I found other creators that I could identify through their footage, and I reached out to them and like let them know like, hey, like people are like, for some reason this Korean channel is using your footage of your stream. And then eventually it took like a month to 6 weeks, and then it got taken down. But
wow,
it
so
was
basically
wild.
So basically it's the same idea as, let's say I were to go to Silly Millie Games Twitch, download her VODs, and I'll have Panfred Nudo dub himself over it while she
and have him do it in Tagalog and be
Fred, hit me up. We got a content
farm.
Hit me up right now. Oh shit, Silly's there.
Oh, he's here.
He's here. Later.
We've been made. Quick hide. But yeah, no, that's my story about there was a Korean content farm using footage of my stream.
That is insane. But I mean, in this case, thankfully it was just front page, but who knows? I think Papa mentioned that we should have to start searching our names on Twitch and see what comes up. Oh my goodness. But you've made it when people start using your likeness on platform.
I don't know. It was completely random. They're like, we need a vaguely Asian looking guy that maybe could pass for like he's speaking in Korean.
Oh man,
it was
that is so good.
Wild. Like I said, tens of thousands of views. It was
the Arnold voice, 100% breaks.
Yeah.
But hey, but look, I mean, in the end, the point of the story is that, if growing your channel and whatnot, and if you want to be on front page, more power to you. I wish you the best. It's a great feeling to be on that front page and to see that action, to get that activity. Do it, but manage your expectations. Keep it low. Keep it low. There are other ways to grow your channel, and unfortunately there's no magic method. You know how people say like like let's say for example I'm on a weight loss journey right now, and barring any special diseases or things that can hold you back physically, mentally, whatever, the key to losing weight is eating less and exercising, right? And you're guaranteed to lose weight. To be successful on the platform, what do the people tell you? Be consistent, be consistent, be committed, work hard, put in the hours, blah, 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 blah. But this doesn't guarantee anything. It doesn't guarantee anything. So when something is supposed to happen and it doesn't happen, and you're doing the right steps to do it, um, there's no guarantees. A lot of luck. There's a lot of luck involved. I was lucky in terms of I met some really good people, and people liked who I am. People liked my attitude, and people gave me a chance. I think that's a lot of luck.
Yeah.
That is a lot of luck.
Yeah.
Also, it's when I first got my initial boost in viewership, Duo MTL was already a partner on stream. I knew Harley from Epic Mealtime. He rated me often, but obviously his audience wasn't really my type of audience. So it's sort of like,
right.
For example, I'm being sidetracked right now. So before I started streaming, I was following this one streamer, and she had about 500 to 1,000 people in her streams at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
And it just so happens that I became a regular in that stream. People recognized me, and to a point where she was like, "Juice, are you gonna start streaming?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure, I'll start streaming." And this is another thing. She rated me during my first month of streaming.
Wow.
With over 500 people.
Wow.
She rated. And I make this joke to this day where don't depend on raids.
Yeah.
Because raids does not mean, yes, I get a lot of raids, but that doesn't mean anything. It's still up to you to retain the people that come in and convince people to give you a shot. So raids, again, don't expect raids to help you grow your channel. When this person raided, it went from 500, let's say, to like 10.
Wow.
To like 10, right?
What
this
a drop, dude.
Yeah, crazy drop. Because, and again, I think of it, and it's okay because that audience isn't for me. You're gonna go to this stream and see this beautiful lady giving you a tour of Sweden,
right?
And then you're gonna come to a bald Asian dude playing Forza.
So you're telling me that these audiences, there's no overlap. If there's a Venn diagram,
there's no overlap. There's no overlap.
Okay,
it's like
there's nothing.
No,
got it.
There's no overlap. It's like, man, what happened to the beautiful Swedish girl showing about Sweden? And then it's now this guy is talking about, hey guys, it's my first month on Twitch. I don't have any hair. Come on, man. Let's be real. Let's be real.
I mean, if it was me and I got that rate, I'd be like, want to see my Lego collection?
You want to see my Legos? And here, this is the thing. Let me tell you. Can you still access your Twitch recap? By the way,
yeah.
Is that still available? Do you know where? And I would love to tell people.
Yeah. It's actually maybe they took it off, but
okay. Here, let me just to give you an idea. And again, we're talking about. I know I'm pivoting to growing a channel. I know we didn't really.
You're fine.
No, but let me see. Let me check my emails.
Yeah.
Let me see. Okay, 2024 recap. Let me see my recap.
So actually, yeah, and I'll post a link for people who are watching live. But it's twitch.tv/annual recap. With a dash in between.
Let me tell you. Twitch.tv/annual recap.
With a dash in between the words, yeah.
Annual recap. Okay, hold on. Just to give you an idea. All right, so it's loading. Okay. Chat. Everyone here. How many people? Okay, how many raids do you think I received in the year of 2024? And I'm going to send this to you as well. Amor, I don't know if you'll have access to it. Actually, I don't know. Here, let me take a screenshot.
I'm going to say you've received if I were to guess.
You're not on my can I whisper you? I'll whisper to you. Hold on.
I would say if I were to give you a good guess, because I know how much I've gotten. I've gotten 400 raids.
400?
In 2024.
Okay.
So if I were to have an educated guess on how many you would get based on that, I would say 1,500.
1,500?
Yeah.
I want to send you a picture.
Okay.
How can I send you a picture?
You can Discord it to me. Are we Discord friends?
Or you know what? I'll go on Instagram.
I was gonna say we talked through Insta.
And then you could read it to chat.
Okay.
And let me see if I could get this down for you. So I'm gonna go here to our DM. We're sliding into the DMs, yo. We're sliding into the DMs.
Get in there, my guy.
Here, let's save. Okay. And I'm gonna put raids. Call it raids. And go here and here. I'm gonna send that to you. You can read that to chat. That's how many raids I received last year.
Wow, 1,920. Yeah.
1,920.
That's incredible.
Out of that 1,920, let's go here. Let's take it even a step further. Let's say an average of those 1,920. Let's say there's about 50 people average. Multiply by 1,920. That's 96,000 viewers.
Yeah.
How many of those 96,000 stuck around to watch me at the end of the year? Maybe 5. Maybe 5. If I got 5, I would be freaking impressed.
That's incredible. Yeah.
To give you an idea.
I was gonna say for a good raid, like you can expect around a half to a third to stay for a little while.
Yeah.
So
exactly. So again, and this all coincides with a conversation about partner pushing and all those things. And yes, it's important to still put on a show regardless. But it's very important to understand that when you partner push and you do all these things, there's so many factors that potentially help you as a streamer, but in the end, it boils down to one thing and one thing alone, and it's content. Content. And you just have to work on that, work to improve. Yes, you'll get the raids, you'll get all these things, but just remember that it's coming from me. Take everything with a grain of salt and understand that, it's the numbers. It takes a lot of luck. It takes some luck.
It sure does. Sure does.
Yeah, Briggs. Hell yeah. 1%, baby.
There it is.
But yeah, but look, that's why no matter who, but mind you, whoever raids, even if it's one person or 1,000 people, each raid is met with the same energy. It's met with the same enthusiasm.
It's gotta. You gotta.
I will never downplay someone who thinks of wanting to share their community with mine, no matter how small it is. Like it's all great. It's all fun to me. It's all about the stream, man. It's all about the stream.
Absolutely.
So that's it.
That was some incredible insight, and thank you for talking about that, because definitely, there's not many people I think get to hear about what that's like to try to build towards something like that. What's next for Juice's channel? What do you got going on for the future?
Well, I recently started a stream team.
Nice.
And I'm happy to say that there's a few people in chat who are part of that stream team. Papa Paz, Mia, and our very own Panfred Nudo.
Shout out. Yeah.
He is a part of that stream team. And my biggest goal for this year is just to help people in that team. That's all it is. I feel that when I first started, when I first learned about stream teams and whatnot, I think that the one thing when I first started, I had this vision of grandeur. I had this vision of I want to have the biggest and best. Yeah. I want to be this biggest and baddest stream team there ever was, and I'm gonna do things so different. I'm gonna break new ground. I'm gonna be, In the end, I'm just after talking to Heather one time on Discord, I think Heather came up to me. She was just like, well, "Are you sure you want to do that?" I forgot what she told me, but it was like, "Are
you sure?"
I forgot what she said. It was along the lines of, "That's a lot of work."
Yes, it is.
And I'm like, you know what? You're right. Scrap that. So the way I wanted, so the way I envisioned it was, I asked people around me what did they want from the stream team, and for me, the biggest thing I want to do, instead of doing this big thing, basically just show off the people that are on there. That's it. Just be there for the people. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to set up the stream team. I actually make an official announcement and set up a portion of the Discord for the stream team. And all it will be is, hey, who wants to collab with me? Let me know. And that's how it is. If you want to collab with each other, that's what it is. And I'm going to try and do activities throughout the year where anyone can show up, whether the whole team shows up or doesn't. It's up to you. Yeah. No skin off your back. There's really no expectations in terms of like I don't need to have people put, have to put the stream team name in their bio. Like, you can do it if you want. Like, you don't have to. I know people are very adamant on like making sure that people visually see Juice Bar everywhere, tags and whatnot. And for me, it's cool. You don't have to do that. If you want to, that's great. More importantly, I want people to know that when the time comes that, hey, I'm collabing with Fred, I'm collabing with Heather, with Mia. They're part of the stream team. Go check them out, because I want to take advantage of my viewership as much as it's there before it goes away, because nothing's forever. Yeah. If I can take advantage of the raids, take advantage of people coming to the streams and introduce new people to the team, that's my biggest thing, is just help out people. One thing that I am looking to do is, because I'm part of a different stream team, I'm part of the Rat Pack Players Club and the G Fuel stream team. G Fuel, I'm not so sure about that one, because it's more of a corporate thing. I don't think there's many people that care to click on the G Fuel one, but hopefully they do. Use code word LatJuice for up to 30% off your next order, by the way. Yeah. And shameful plug. Yeah. But Shrimp Father, have a great night. So what I want to do is do some collabs with other stream teams and have like an Olympic style stream team versus stream team.
Oh, I like that. Yeah.
So we're gonna do something like that.
That's fantastic.
So yeah, and again, really the main focus of it is just to concentrate on the people that are there. There's no big commitment, but I just want to be active and tell people like, hey, if you want to play a game 1 month, just let me know. We can organize something, and that's it.
I like it.
But yeah, other than that, just keep going strong with the charity stream as much as I can. This year, or rather last year, took a big toll on me energy wise. Yeah. Because I do a big wrestling event, and it was taxing. I still got to send out the prizes, by the way, which was a PS5, Xbox, and Nintendo Switch. I got to still send that out. Yeah. Concentrate on that, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And look, just continue to be active on the platforms, and if the platform grows, it grows, and just keep being me, and just really concentrate on the people that are there. Really. That's pretty much it.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Juice, thanks for the talk, man. Thanks for being here.
Yeah, of course. It was fun.
Great. It was excellent to get to hear everything that you've been up to and get your perspective on some of these things.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you giving me a platform to talk about it, and
absolutely.
I'm glad. I hope it helps someone out there put things in perspective, and more importantly, don't give up on your streaming dreams, whether it's to become partner or become the next 10,000 viewer Andy, I don't know, whatever your goals are.
Being famous in Korea, like whatever you want to be,
famous
man.
In Korea.
Whatever you
just remember, if you remember anything from this podcast, it's just remember your why. Remember why you're doing it. Don't worry about the things that haven't happened, and that's all it is. Remember why you're doing it. Why are you doing it? I know why I do it. It's because I love to entertain. I love when people. The one thing before we end it was that before it was about entertaining people, and that's why I wanted to do it. It was something to do, and then it evolved slowly to meeting some really good people on the platform. And parasocialism aside, there are some really good people who I've met, right? And there are people who have messaged me privately. A few people messaged me privately, and they say how much I help them get through their day, how much I help them laugh, and things like that. And my motivation is really just to be there for the people. They spend time and in some cases money on me, and I just want to give back to that. So, which is why I do a lot of things for the community, whether it's video editing or dedicating my throne to giving prizes to the people instead of going to me. Like I don't need it. So remember why you're doing it, because that's why I do it. It's because people want me to be there and I want to be there for the people. Don't get me wrong, I get a kick out of the attention. I love the attention. Who doesn't like the attention, right? But at the same time, it's just fun for me, and it's an escape. So my day to day is stressful enough. I'm sure everybody has their stressful day to days, and sometimes you just want to pull your hair out. I've already done that. So yeah, I mean that's all it is. And I've met so many cool people. Like for example, just because I know that Fred's part of this community, not to gas up Fred about it, but he introduced me to people like you, to Bricks, to Silly, to AZ, like so many cool people right within the Lego community. And I remember and he was part of Sheep's community, I believe, and it just so happens that he was open to doing Lego on my stream, and it turns out it was just like we're like brothers from another mother, and it was like holy shit, like I hope to make it to TwitchCon San Diego so we could do prom pictures now, and things like that. It's just been great. So
yeah, it's been awesome.
There's some great people.
Yeah.
Yo, brother, Triforce. Sorry,
Triforce.
I had to do that.
All right. Well, you kind of already did it, but I'm going to give you one last opportunity. I always let the guest close out the episode with any final thoughts, words, wisdom, anything you want to share, put out into the world. These are the final moments of the episode. So go for it.
So other than what I mentioned, which was to remember why you're doing it, I would say don't take yourself too seriously on this platform. You can get lost in the sauce very, very easily. Your expectations may be to grow this channel to this wonderful entity where you're getting sponsors and money and viewers, and you have this idea of full-time creating. Just remember that I'm gonna quote the one of the developers. I forgot who said this, and it's very important because I know that there were a big person in the community or in the space. Remember when Elden Ring came out, the DLC?
Yeah.
And then people were complaining that it was too difficult. There was another dev who came out in defense of the developers of Elden Ring and said a game for everyone is a game for no one.
Absolutely.
And keep that in mind with your streams. My streams are hella fever dream. It's a fever dream, right?
Yeah.
And it can be offensive, but it's all within the realm of good intentions. It's all love and support. And yeah, it can be crude, it can be lewd, but it's never intended to harm anybody. It's never intended to make people feel shy. If anything, it's to help people connect with others, right? So just remember that a stream for everyone's a stream for no one. And if you look at the most successful streams out there, I guarantee that there are people who like passionately do not like that stream.
Yeah.
Or that streamer. It's okay to have an opinion. It's okay to be yourself. If there's a viewer that comes in your stream and is being a jerk, kick him out. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. If you have to change yourself in order to get something you want, it's not worth it. Don't do it. Stay true to yourself, and good things will come. And just remember and concentrate on the people that are there supporting you. Don't worry about the numbers. Don't worry about the people that are not there. And have fun, and don't take yourself too seriously.